Welcome back. Welcome back to Green Box Gaming. Plays Delta Green, Impossible Landscapes. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Joe. I'm going to be your handler for this operation. And I am joined by three people who are present and here and probably have some redeeming qualities. I will go and introduce them in an order that is not indicative of how I feel about them or of any objective measures of their value or worth. So,
this is the nicest anybody has said to me this whole week.
Yeah, this is nice.
So
I'm just going to assume the best out of everything you
I
said.
feel loved.
So starting with Brad, who is playing our U.S. Marshal, Hank Ellis.
Hello.
And I'm also joined by Jean, playing our journalist, Benedict.
Hey.
And then, again, last but not least, because, again, as I said at the top, it's not indicative of their overall quality, Dace, playing Benji, our historian.
Giddy up, cowboys and cowgirls. Giddy up.
Interesting choice. Okay.
Cleanest thing you've said.
God.
And will say.
I think this intro is going really good, guys. I'm feeling good about this.
Yeah. We're gonna have a great time.
It's gonna be a good one. How are you guys doing? What you guys been up to?
Oh, moving.
Oh, that's right.
Oof. My house is in complete disarray, and so is my brain.
Gotcha. All right. What's because I mean, you're moving. I guess it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter how far away you're moving. You still have to put everything in boxes and then unpack it when you get there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, yeah. What about you, Jean? You got any? Aren't you hanging out somewhere different?
Different part of South Africa. Yeah, I'm in Cape Town. It's good.
Okay.
All right.
How was that?
Peaceful.
Peaceful. It's nice. Yeah, because you're usually in.
I'm in the dark, but yeah.
Yeah, they still turn off the lights there every now and then, but it's.
I'll turn off the light.
Well, I know. Well, actually, now that I think, I was about to say something about and summer's upon us, but then I remembered.
Yeah,
that
don't ask me how I'm doing.
What about Brad? Yeah,
Wait for that.
this is where it started. What a dick.
Guys, let's keep it together. We're doing so well.
Stand up for yourself, Brad.
I've got nothing going on, Joe. No, you don't even have to ask me. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead with
No, Brad, I want to hear. I want to hear how you're doing, man.
I'm interested.
Yeah.
Great.
Good.
That's right
that's
there.
why I didn't ask. Okay. That's why I didn't ask, because that's all you do. You always do this.
Really does,
man.
though. It's always one word answers.
Always like this with you. My mother was right. Yeah. All right. Well, I know. So summer is upon us here, guys. Or I guess technically maybe we're still in spring, but I know it is starting to warm up here. So I know, I'm up in Oregon.
Nice.
Oh, that's right. You're in a different hemisphere. So you guys are
bundled up in woolen clothing.
Yeah. So you guys are heading into winter then, right now.
I still don't know how that works, like with the Earth being flat and everything.
That's right.
Yeah.
It probably has something to do with the ice wall, I imagine. Do they move the ice wall around? Is that how they do it?
Must be.
Yeah, big pharma government does it. I think.
Yeah, the UN
with helicopters and dragons.
I don't know enough about this to really comment. I'm going to leave it.
You don't know about the science of. It's not even flat Earth theory. It's flat Earth fact.
I honestly don't know the ice wall thing. What is that?
Okay, so all right. So according to the flat earthers. Okay, and if you're a flat earther, please feel free to comment on my lack of knowledge.
Feel free to comment or leave.
Yeah, or maybe just leave. So, if I understand correctly, so the Earth is flat, it's like a disc or something, and along the edges is a giant ice wall that keeps people and the oceans from falling off, And if you get near, if you travel too far, you get too close to the ice wall, the UN will come with its mighty military power, and will either escort you away from the ice wall or disappear you / kill you. So
it's just like Game of Thrones.
I am sad to say I have never seen Game of Thrones, so I cannot comment.
The funniest part to me is that she's like
the
most impant agency.
To the UN.
Dude has have no power. Like, how do they have the resources to do that? To monitor the
they're
entire
There's a helicopter.
perimeter?
The singular helicopter. No, the one helicopter we have is already on the other side of the ice wall. So yeah.
I mean, this could be a Delta Green campaign.
The ice wall.
It should
The
be.
ice wall.
That'd be awesome.
God,
Boom.
it should.
All right, art
Grab.
train, write it up.
Get on it. Yeah. All right. Well, speaking of Delta Green campaigns, Delta Green stories are right in the middle of our own.
Is that what we're
Here's
doing?
one I cut up.
That's what we're doing. Yeah. Sorry, we're here for a podcast days.
Oh,
Yeah, I
We're
thought it was
here
about flat Earth, though. I thought that was the whole premise of this podcast.
Yeah.
I thought it was
Anyone
just
who's
about
listening to
getting
the top side banter could be forgiven for thinking that. So yeah, we are in.
We should probably give some kind of a timestamp for when we actually start podcast.
We actually start playing the fucking game.
For anybody who doesn't want to hear us talking shit, go to this time.
Oh man. Well, we are here with our agents in 2015 in Boston. The team was originally recruited to investigate the disappearance of 3 agents from a Delta Green sponsored insane asylum. They investigated, determined there was some foul play, but they haven't managed to circle back to it because it became very clear to them that not only was there foul play, but also that their briefing officer, their in-game handler, was almost certainly had been affected by the unnatural. The team began to investigate their handler, Agent Exeter, who they later determined to be Dr. Elias Barbas. They investigated his home. 2 of them were nearly killed in a combat encounter with a mechanical construct, basically like a clockwork steampunkish Terminator that almost murked 2 of them. They were able to recover from that and eventually were then actually black bagged Dr. Barbas and discovered that he too has been corrupted by the powers of the King in Yellow. After an incident, and I'm not going to say it's anybody's fault, but Benji did gun down the man as he was strapped to a chair, as one does. And it happens, especially in Delta Green. And you guys then began to investigate his home again. When you returned to his home, you guys again came to blows with the Lion, which is this mechanical creature, and were able to destroy it without taking any damage. It's incredible what happens when you guys are super, super paranoid and very well armed and very well prepared. So, good job.
Very
guys.
lucky.
And lucky, yeah. It is worth noting.
Debatably
You guys are
so.
much luckier. There
Remember
were
the
2
amount of
fumbles. Yeah, that's
Huge
right.
fumbles.
Someone
Yeah.
rolled a 100.
Can't say
I think
who.
it was me.
Who would
I
that
don't
be?
know.
Not Brad.
It was.
It was me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it
you
was
were
you.
so pissed off. You had to get up and turn the AC on. 'Cause you-
Just so hot under the collar.
That's why I've just blocked it from my memory. That's how pissed I was. Somebody rolled 100.
Somebody. You guys investigated Dr. Barbas's home in Medford, Massachusetts, a little suburb. You guys had figured out that this home, this place, is obviously influenced by the King in Yellow. There's something like similar to the way the McAllister building was last season in 1995, that there was something going on here, that the influence had grown into not just into the home, but actually into some of the property as well. You guys begin to look at throughout the house. You find a lot of weird stuff. You find some references to, I'm thinking of like some of the evidence you found last time. You found a cell phone that was apparently hidden, taped underneath the counter in the kitchen, that had the demonic symbol, one of these demonic symbols that like you had experienced in the past, but this time not of a demon called Person, but this time of a demon called Citri. You guys then found a book that bore the name that someone had written inside, like property of a name that you had seen before, Samahina, who was the head nurse at the Dorchester facility. So you guys had found that. You guys made your way upstairs and found more oddness. You found like a place, a kind of shrine or altar where this Person demon symbol was inscribed into the floor. And lastly, you guys had heard about this another entity called the Scribe. You entered the last room of the home where we ended last time, seeing a machine that you assumed to be the Scribe, and a pile of these, not books, but book covers that are very, very much remind you of the Red Book, the King in Yellow in the red cover that you guys had. And then when we ended last time, you guys had just recovered a piece of paper, a cheat sheet that Dr. Barbas had, that had a lot of personal info about each of you guys. I'm actually going to transition, for those of you watching the VOD, or for those of you with us here on Twitch, I'm actually going to transition over here to to that handout so we can take a look at it. So this is the handout. It has a lot of interesting information about the characters, their personal names, their code names, their habits, their bonds, and then several interesting little tidbits, like for Benji, read the play, in the play. For Hank Ellis, looking for Abby, will find her in the end. And Benedict is playing part. Act 2, Scene 1. And that is where we ended it, with the characters realizing that a lot of their most private info, and I imagine that as you guys are looking this and handing this around, I mean, you each are reading things about each other that you have no idea. You don't know each other's bonds. You're surprised to see, Hank, you're surprised to see Sandy mentioned on Benji's list. You know, you're someone who used to be a bond of yours, a waitress at a Waffle House that you used to hang out with. But you're seeing loads of different things about each other, things that you didn't know, your personal addresses. So, with that in mind, what do you do?
Didn't we also find another symbol about Barbas?
I think that you guys, or maybe that was the one that was in... Yes, that's right. I think you guys had found out, because when you guys had originally been summoned, for the briefing from Agent Exeter, he had reserved the room under the name Barbas, and maybe it was a symbol in this room elsewhere. You had found a seal that had the name Barbas on it, and the way that the Barbas demon was described as having knowledge of mechanical things, which seems really, really coincidental.
Oh, there's a third demon called Barbas, supposedly.
This is now, you guys have now run into 3 of these demonic seals in real life. Now, you obviously have, especially because Benji is knowledgeable about it, you have a hard copy of Dr. Elias Barbas's, his hard copy, his taped together kind of handmade copy of the Ars Goetia, which is a book of demons and how to summon them. You guys also have access to Demon Web 101, which is something you described, and you have Benji, who has over an 80 in occult, so can rattle any of this shit off to you off the top of his head, because he's up to his eyeballs in it.
Hank, this says homeless in apartment now. What's happening? What does that mean?
I don't know what this means, but and then Benji, what do you know about Sandy?
Oh, Sandy? Do you know her? Sandy Forsyth? Works down at the cafe?
Oh, you do? You guys aren't close anymore. That was one of the bonds that you lost in the 20 years, I believe.
Yeah,
Pulls
we
his
used
gun
to have
out.
a thing. She's a real generous lover. She
Hank
told
pulls
me
out
I
a
was the
gun and
best
says,
she ever had.
"What have you done with my woman?" No, he doesn't. That doesn't pull out the gun.
It doesn't do that.
This man has been keeping tabs on us, or him and someone else.
I'm a bit more disturbed about the tabs that don't seem to plug in. What? These bots? I'm not happy with this. I'm not happy with this at all.
Can agree that we need to burn this. Hank just wants to get rid of this completely.
Yeah.
Yes, without a doubt.
I just
All right.
there's something on Benji's list. What does that say?
Monta, LA.
Monta, LA, 1992. Is that what that says?
Funny you mentioned that. It's actually Montz, 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 LA, as in Montz, Louisiana.
Does that ring a
Benji?
bell?
Oh, it doesn't just ring a bell, my friend. Benji, you run your finger down the list and you see Montz. And there's a moment where you have a bit of a moment. Your head swims as the camera zooms into Benji's face.
Oh Lord.
And we watch
It's a
as the
flashback
wrinkles of
again.
time disappear onto a much younger, much brighter looking Benji Potts. As the camera pulls away, we see that Benji is walking. He is stomping through what looks like swampy woodland. And he's walking through, and he's behind a man who's wearing no shirt and has like paint up his chest and onto his face. So the man turns around. He's a big hulking guy, and he turns around. He says, "Now y'all promise you gotta be cool about this. I told him that you'll be coming. I told him that you'd be respectful, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Hand on God.
And by all means, don't mention nothing about the big man while you're here. Y'all can it?
Roger that.
Benji, you are in Montz, Louisiana. It is 1992. You are, after your experience at the crossroads with the strange man in the yellow suit, you have continued to go down this road and investigating this connection between the blues and the unnatural, and you found your way to Montz, Louisiana, which is a small town out, it's on the outskirts of New Orleans, and you have come into contact with this group who supposedly practices this music-informed kind of voodoo. And voodoo is the actual traditional practice of voodoo. It's like the kind of basis for which voodoo gets its anglicized, popular idea. But this is like the true traditional voodoo that exists. And not only that, many of you have probably heard of hoodoo. Hoodoo is actually a real term in the practice of voodoo, and hoodoo is basically evil magic, where voodoo is not necessarily evil spirits, where hoodoo kind of encompasses the use of evil spirits and evil magics. You are walking through the forest, you're being led, and you can see through the woods, you see that there's an area where the land dips down and fills with water, and then on a small kind of island out in the middle of this low, marshy, like pond, you see a fire. You see people standing around it. Your guide, whose name you still do not know, begins to wade off, getting between his knees and his hips, deep in this marshy, disgusting water. He said, "Come on."
Hey, brother, are there gators in there? Should I be concerned?
He laughs. Of course, there's gators. Come on.
All right. Hey, by the way, what's your name?
You did you have to do this? Did you have to do this to me right now?
You said, by the way, whose name you do not know. I thought that was a cue.
He's Thibodeau. He's Thibodeau.
Oh, that's pretty.
Yeah, I Thibodeau. Come on. We don't want to miss.
All right, here we go.
He's on high alert, looking for anything that's moving, and he ripples in the water.
Yeah. You're so paranoid as you're walking through the water that you don't even really take notice of what's happening, and it's not until you get your feet not necessarily planted on dry ground, but on marshy, wet, soft ground that you manage to look, and you see that in front of you is, like I said, like a small island kind of raised up out of this marshy, murky water. There's a pretty good-sized bonfire in the middle of it, and all around you are the sounds of instruments. Everyone there seems to have a different instrument. They seem to like almost like an orchestra, be like getting tuned up and ready to go. You see guitars and like what are they, like someone has a calypso, you know. But you also see other things. You see people literally with like wash tubs with a string, like those like cartoonish country bass guitar kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
You see people with scrub boards, and you also see people with instruments that you've never even seen. You're like, is that a hurdy-gurdy? Like, you see like people who are like literally just blowing into the top of the bottles and stuff like that. It's a huge mix. There's someone with an accordion, someone with a sitar, and they're all seem to be getting ready. And they all and the music kind of quickly stops, just as you kind of enter the clearing. And Thibodeau says, "This is the man I was telling you all about. Don't worry. He's gonna be respectful."
Hi, fellas. My name's Benji. I like that little ditty you're playing just then. It's pretty catchy. Mind if I join in?
One of the men stands up. Did you bring a guitar with you? You were probably instructed to bring something.
Yeah.
The looks like the oldest man stands up, and he walks up to you and kind of looks you up and down. He takes the guitar like from you, as you're like holding it there, pulling it off your back. And he looks it over. He looks it over. He's like looking inside it. He said, "It's good y'all come, Benji. Go ahead, take a seat at the fire. We've been waiting for you."
Wow.
All right. I'll just make myself at home over here.
He goes up to the fire and takes a seat.
What happens over the next few hours is a bit of a blur. It starts out, everyone's just kind of picking and grinning. Everyone's kind of playing their music, and there's so many different instruments, and it becomes pretty obvious to Benji that not everyone's at the same level of skill with their individual instruments, but everyone just starts kind of playing. But after a while, I don't know, it's like, Benji's been in a few really good jam sessions where you get a good flow on, and everything just kind of seems to disappear, and it's just the music. And after a while, there's just this cacophony of all these different instruments, all these different people, as Benji he gets the flow. And there comes a moment where a few of the people get up and they actually transition, and they go to like a small tent that's like on the far side, and they bring out what looks like a goat, and they stake it to the ground, and they all start kind of chanting. And before long, one of them pulls out a knife, and one by one they all go up and stab the goat once. And what is Benji's reaction to this, as this kind of sudden brutality makes itself known?
Oh man, I think it takes him aback. Go ahead.
This is 1992, Benji. He hasn't been through anything.
Yeah. I think it rocks him. I think he stops playing and he's just like aghast at this display of brutality. You feel something hit you, like give you a tap on the shoulder. You realize it's the head of Thibodeau's banjo, as he kind of like nudges you with the banjo as you stop playing. And he says,
go on. Y'all next.
Oh, is he like indicating that he needs to go over to the goat?
Yeah, one of the people is holding out this huge Bowie knife to you.
Benji stands up hesitantly, takes the knife, walks over to the goat. Is it still...
The animal is like, it's past bleeding in pain. Like, it's been stabbed so many times. There's like a dozen people here, and you think you're the last one. And this thing is like on the ground, and it is, it's like it's past the point of being able to cry out. It's still alive, as far as you can tell, but...
Man. He'll look the goat right in its square pupiled eyes and just like hesitate for a moment, and then just right down into the neck through the jugular, trying to put it out of its misery.
Yeah. You hear everyone kind of lets up this like whooping, like woo, as you stab it, and you hear someone says, "Go on, get him again," and they keep cajoling you and pushing you to do more.
I think Benji folds under the peer pressure. I think he stabs it again.
It's just, and as you do this, it's like, and people are like, are crying out, yeah, and the music is getting louder and louder. There are no amplifiers out here. There are no speakers, but the music, it's getting so loud that Benji is like, it's like standing right next to a huge, like, bass speaker at a concert. Like, it's shaking your eyes.
Yeah.
It's so loud as Benji continues to stab.
Oh god, he's probably like got blood splatters all over his face now.
Yeah. And as you go, it's like, and you are continuing to like shake, and I imagine that Benji at some point in time grabs the huge Bowie knife with both hands and is stabbing and stabbing. And then the music is at this huge crescendo. You look down and the goat is not there. You see the face of an older black man. He has 3 gaping bullet holes in his chest. His dirty suit is pulled to the side as he stares up at you with this sickly, huge, wide smile as you stab and stab and stab into the chest of Dr. Elias Barbas before you. And all of this goes on, and Benji's head is swimming. He raises his hands up in front of him and looks at the blood and looks at the man before his head swims and he passes out.
Bravo.
Benji wakes up in the back of a pickup truck as it clambers down a gravel road. The daylight is just slightly kind of hitting him, like there's just a little bit of light through the trees that kind of hits his eyes and he wakes up. The truck kind of careens to a stop from a high speed as it slides on the gravel. Benji looks over to see his car at the place that you had met Thibodeau. You see that laying beside you in the truck is a large, huge cotton sack that has something inside it that's bleeding through the sack. The door slams as Thibodeau, now wearing a shirt, his face still painted but with a shirt pulled over his body, comes up, says, All right, Mr. Potts. I believe it's your stop."
What happened?
What y'all mean happened?
What's in the bag?
Oh, goat. Don't y'all remember?
Benji's just like confused, discombobulated. I guess
Anyway.
he'll get out.
Yeah, as you go and you have your eyes on the bag the whole time. It's like, is that too big of a lump for a goat? It's like, it seems like it could be a goat, but is it too big? Is it too long? Like, you get out, you hop over the tailgate onto the gravel, and the guy Thibodeau, you go to shake Thibodeau's hand out of just out of like a normal social interaction. As you do, you shake his hand, but then he grabs your forearm with his left hand and holds you. He says, "Now, I don't think I gotta tell you that you gotta be respectful in how you write this up with that paper you're doing."
Yeah, of course I will.
All right. Well, don't y'all worry about coming back here. We ain't gonna meet in this place no more. So, it's been good, Benji Potts.
I appreciate you, Thibodeau.
He smiles, chuckles, gets in the truck, cranks it up, and just as he's heading out, he hangs his head out the window. My name ain't Thibodeau. And he drives off. You're standing there looking at that as you're watching the dust cloud disappear into the distance as you stand there by your car. You look down at your nails and see that along the edges are still the blood. Looks like someone's wiped off your hands, but there's still blood in the creases. As we then pull back into Benji's young face, and the wrinkles regrow, and then we pull back away to see Benji in 2015 standing there looking down at the paper. What?
I don't get to look in the bag.
No, you don't get to look in the bag. It's a memory. You didn't look in the bag.
All right.
What's in the
bag? What's in the bag? Bag.
So here we are.
It's like, Benji, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Where the hell?
Yeah.
That guy go?
Just
He's zoned
been
out.
Staring at this paper for 15 minutes like you were having some kind of flashback that might give a fourth wall audience more insight to your character.
Oh no, brother. I was just thinking about all them good times I had with Sandy.
Oh.
Oh, got him.
What? Don't you talk about Sandy anymore.
Don't you dare mention her name. You son of a bitch.
We'll discuss that later.
I'm back. Sorry about that, fellas.
Benji, do we need to... Are you okay? Are you okay?
Oh, hell
you
yeah,
take
I've
a
never
hit
been
to the
better.
head?
Well, yeah.
He's like
Metaphorically
visibly
speaking.
He's like visibly sweating. Yeah, I'm fine.
Is there anything you need to tell us? Perhaps a story that might be as long as you've been zoning out for the last 15 minutes and tell it all to us and
Yes, let's recount
Great
every
detail.
bit
The
of that.
camera zooms in on Benji's face as the creases smooth out, and it's 20 years ago, and Benji's
man.
walking through a swamp, waist deep.
Anyway, we're back in the modern day now. So you guys are in Dr. Elias Barbas's home. You have this pile of these book covers that you've discovered, this pile of discarded this piece of paper was found on a pile of discarded invitations, similar to the invitations that you guys had received. And in the middle of the room is still this machine.
yeah. Hank's like, I think it's without saying, we got to get rid of this place. Get rid of these books, the covers of these books. I don't know, burn this piece of paper, but we also need to figure out what this machine's doing. Is it like active, clicking, or can you give another description of kind of what it looks like and what it's doing?
Yeah, so
How big is it?
think about it looks like a mix of a typewriter, a cotton gin, and a clock. It's about the size of like, God, I hate to use this old thing, but it's like the size of a bread box. It's like it's probably like 2 foot cubed. Like it's like this kind of big chunky machine that's on the middle of this desk. It's sitting there, and you see every now and then you see one of the strange little pieces of machinery kind of move and then move back to where it was, and there is a light clicking that's kind of constantly emanating from it. One of your party,
Yes.
one of your party, I will say, has a seemingly innate and unnatural understanding of this machine.
You don't even have to roll.
Don't you? What is your skill in Carcosian Clockworks that you
Well,
received?
Thank you for asking. And I'll tell you that. Presently.
As we don't
35.
have
35.
35. Okay. You, Benji, as you have this feeling, I don't know, is Benji gonna is he gonna go over there and investigate it? Are you guys moving
Yeah.
your attention over there? I don't want to push the story. I'm sorry.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fine.
You go over there and you see that it has very much like a printer style hopper that looks like you would load paper into. And there is a pile of papers sitting there to the side of it. You also see what looks like several, like those legal pads, like yellow legal pads that have like the cardboard backing to them, and you like tear off the pages.
Yep.
You see dozens and dozens of these discarded backs, and you see one of them is sitting there. And Benji, it doesn't take you just a second. You recognize these legal pad pages. These are the similar kind of things that Dr. Barbas had stuffed all throughout his clothes. And on every single one of those crumpled pieces of paper that he had stuffed all in and about himself were snippets of the book, The King in Yellow. Benji, you see this and you realize that on this notepad, Barbas has written out the entirety of The King in Yellow. That in and of itself basically is a copy of the book. There's also a big stack of like big reams of blank paper that look like they could be loaded into the hopper. But as you look at this thing,
is like mass producing the King in Yellow.
Well, the legal
like,
pages are handwritten, right?
I know, that's what I'm confused. Right. But there's a spot for you to load paper into this thing as if it would like type out.
Yeah. Benji's gonna load up some paper in there and see what happens.
No, Benji, don't do it. No, Benedict runs in, and he smashes the machine.
Oh shit!
Oh, okay. All right. As you...
Benji, stand back. Whop.
Okay. I don't know what you do that with. But...
Picks up book. Tries to swat it like a bug.
Take this machine.
Whop. Literature, the only thing that you've been immune to.
I think there's enough junk around here that you could probably pick something up and go to town. Sorry, if you're going to attack this thing...
I'm attacking.
All right. Are any of you going to do anything to stop him, or it's just going to happen? If this is happening, this is happening. I want to give everybody agency.
Benji's not going to stop him, but he's going to be like,
What the hell are you doing, Benedict? That's a priceless artifact. We need to understand it.
It could help us.
It could help us.
We don't need to understand anything more, Benji. Nothing more to understand.
Is he saying this while he's just like going to town on it?
He's like pulls back his stab wound to his neck. Right. There is no more understanding needed.
But he's gonna do the exact same thing that caused the stab.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. You pick up like maybe there's like a crowbar or something there, or just like a piece of lead pipe, and Bennett starts wailing on this thing. It's not an. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and spoil it for you guys. It doesn't burst to life and attempt to murder you guys. Pieces are flying everywhere, and this thing is like it. I don't know. It seems to almost be like twitching and struggling against these strikes. Like as he comes down with one of the blows, one of these weird, like there's a stylus that looks like it has like a quill or something on the end of it. It almost like appears to come up defensively, as if to deflect his blow, but he just strikes right through it. Blam, blam, blam. And it gets to the point where the clicking stops. There's like a click, 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 cling, and like spring as like a spring launches out of it.
Oh my god, Benedict jumps back after that spring.
Yeah.
We'll never know what it did, but perhaps it's for the best.
It's not worth it.
Well, but even that right there, I think that is such a good part of like Delta Green, where it's like one player's like, no, we can understand it. Maybe we could use it. And the other player's like, no, it's too dangerous. Like it's just that's always a balancing act of these kind of games.
Hank did a search, but he failed. He was gonna look around for something that is not in Barbas's handwriting. Like something that perhaps this machine would have produced given a blank sheet of paper, but I guess that's yeah.
You.
I'm
sorry. Go ahead.
I don't think we should. These things are too dangerous. We have to be real here. The time for investigating is done. It's time for action. It's time to get back to basics. We need to fix the situation. There have been too many stab wounds.
If we don't understand it, we can't shut it down for good. We gotta cut this thing off at the source.
How is this thing powered in the first place? Benji, do you know anything?
Well, I would tell you if you hadn't smashed the shit out of it.
What? Well,
Perhaps, Benji,
fair.
well, maybe this would be safer. Maybe you could look at it now that it doesn't have the chance to ride anything, and see if you could derive any sort of what it might have done.
Then it could have stabbed you in the fucking hand had I not done what I did.
And you call me
He saved
paranoid.
you. He saved your life just now.
And now we're fucking equal, Benji.
We
It's a
are
pleasure.
absolutely not even. You just smashed a bread box. I saved your fucking life.
It's hard to argue.
All right. Maybe I owe you another one, Bill.
Yeah.
I guess Benji will do a check to see if he can glean anything about this heap of parts.
Yeah. So, as you look at it, because you have this, if you didn't have the skill specifically, if you didn't have the Carcosian clockwork skill, you would have to have something pretty special to do this, specialized. But you do. There is no obvious power source, but Benji is part of you. Just like I said, this knowledge that seemed to have been kind of implanted into you. You get you just know that there's a power source that's beyond kind of mortal kin, if you would. That goes beyond everything. That it is not something that thing doesn't need to be plugged in, doesn't need to be wound up. You see that in addition to the slot, the hopper for the papers, there's also a small slot down below it. And I'm not going to make you roll for anything. I mean, it's pretty obvious. You look over at the pile of red leather book covers. Maybe you go pick one up and you hold it up to the slot, and you see that these book covers can be also fed into the machine. And you would not be surprised if, as Benedict and Hank had surmised, that this thing might actually be capable of wholesale producing these books.
Okay.
Not just writing them, but actually binding them. And you see that there's several cardboard boxes full of these things, but there's also several empty boxes that appear to the there's several empty boxes that all seem to be piled up next to a small door at the end of the room. Looks to be probably a closet or something.
Benji will go check those out.
Before we check those out, can Benedict does two things. He kind of goes over the machine and pokes it, make sure it's dead. He also waves his hand over the top to make sure it's not powered by any strings. Kind of does a little puppeteer magic.
I like that.
He also,
That's rational.
he wants to check if there's any way is there any tracking? Can he investigate to see if there's any tracking numbers to see if each of them are identified in any way uniquely?
You mean the boxes or the covers?
Whether the covers or the ones, yeah.
They look to all be identical. There's nothing you can surmise about them.
Okay.
But you did say you go over and open the door, right?
Yeah. Then he saunters over to Benji.
Great, fantastic.
What you found there?
Also, real quick, well, I'll hold on a sec. You go over to the door, you open it up, and for the most part, it does indeed look like a closet. And a lot of these boxes, dozens of these empty boxes, are all stacked up in here. Maybe kind of thrown in a small pile, or like a few of the book covers that maybe have been damaged, like they've been torn or something. But something else strikes you a little odd, and it actually catches your eye faster than anything else. You open the closet door. It's just a small little closet. On the inside wall is another door. It's a very small door. It's like no more than like 3 feet tall. Just like built into the wall. A wall that, as far as you know, should open up to the outside of the house.
Fellas,
Oh,
we might
Lord.
have an Alice in Wonderland situation here.
Oh no. Not like that place.
I'm gonna open this here door. You fellas want to get your guns out?
Is it nighttime, Joe?
I believe it is.
Yep. Guns at the ready.
Yep. Benji will walk over and open the door. What does he see?
Well, you see that the door itself has like a little mail slot in it. That's not like a traditional mail slot. It looks like it is the perfect size to slip one of these books through. As you open it, you are kind of surprised to see that as soon as you open it, there are metal bars across the door, like vertical bars that would prevent you from moving past. It seems to literally be barred, like an old school jail. Like it just has these huge metal bars, and the room beyond is extremely dark. I assume you have a flashlight or something.
Yeah, surely.
You obviously have a flashlight or something. You shine it out, and you see that it looks to be a short tunnel. And you can see a little ways back what looks like a rickety set of wooden steps. And as you shine up the steps, you see that the steps go up to what looks like a trap door. And you see it there is on the wall a singular light switch. And there is a light bulb hanging down. It looks like this tiny door that you're at goes out, or is attached to a short tunnel accessible by a trap door. This does remind you of something. You have this sudden flashback to Robert descending a set of stairs, holding his hand out, and receiving a copy of The King in Yellow from absolute darkness, from a disembodied hand. You realize that you are looking probably at this side of the bookshop.
Is that Barbas' hand?
I think that's the reason. What the?
Yeah.
So, well, it's as we expected. This is some sort of ninth floor situation, but I mean, go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I guess I'm confused. Is this just a closed loop? I mean, he was making these books for not handing out to the general public, but to be slotted in this strange library for some reason.
As you guys come to this realization, I do need you all to make a quick sanity check.
I was thinking that might be coming.
As you see the wall that goes out to nothing, please enunciate your checks for me.
It's a failure for Benedict.
Failure for Hank.
And a failure for Benji.
Does anybody... So it's 1 sanity damage. Does anybody want to deflect?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Alright. Alright, then because it's 1... No, actually, we're going to do it different. Everyone please roll that 1d4.
3 for Benji.
2 for Hank.
1 for Benedict.
Alright. Everyone reduce one of your bond scores by 1, and then reduce your willpower by whatever you rolled.
Okay.
So yes. Who are you deflecting your bond damage to there for Hank?
Sydney.
Sydney. Cindy? You mean Cindy, the girl from the records?
Yeah. What's her name?
Okay.
I thought it was Sydney.
I thought it was Cindy.
That's how much Hank cares about her.
That's how much he cares about her.
All that place.
What about Benedict? Who's he deflecting that off?
Benedict deflects to Barlow.
And Benji?
Dr. Wendy Wright, his mentor back in school.
Right. As you guys retreat from the door, you do see this. You know, you're maybe Benji more so than the others is attracted to this. One of these small excerpts that are written out in Barbas's handwriting. Would one of you please read that for us? What about Benedict? Benedict loves journalism. He's very comfortable with papers, as I understand, as I recall.
He doesn't really want to read anything further, but no man can say when one ends or the other begins. Away you, pale demon, look not on our lives measured only by your profit. The clock has struck, and now it's time. Unmasked, and none shall walk or move or scream, for this place has gone beyond time and tide and reckoning into the grey places where our dreams go, there finding nothing to die.
And that was lovely.
This man is...
Did you just come up with that, Benedict?
That was
No,
great.
I found it on this
You got a
goddamn
real
piece of
poetic
paper.
streak.
I'm tired of picking up pieces of paper. I don't want to look at another piece of paper in my life.
Yeah.
Fellas, I'm at a loss. I mean, I don't know where to go from here. I'm guessing, like I said, I mean, do we really want to go back to that bookstore? What's to find there? Should we go back to the mental health facility? I'm not sure where to go now.
Well, you
remember-
guys do have some leads. You have the phone that you
For
found.
sure.
You have the book, which kind of points you towards... You have the book that you found downstairs, which kind of points you towards Esther Samahinga, or at least someone with the same last name, Samahinga. I think it was D. Samahinga.
Yeah, there was a book that had... Obviously,
Yeah.
do that. I guess the main concern right now, from Hank's perspective, is like... He doesn't want the book getting out to the general public, and that's what I assumed he was doing till now, but now he's just putting these books in this, like, library that's, in between space and time, I guess.
Yeah.
Which doesn't seem like a huge concern.
It's hard,
Well,
Right?
you know that's how...
What?
It's really nothing.
I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I mean, who can find this library? I mean, I don't know.
You know Abigail Wright found it.
True, with her dad.
And with her was brought down an entire building of people. Imagine if you guys hadn't contained it.
For sure.
Anything
But I
else?
guess so. Are we saying the source is this library run by,
You also don't know if you can find it again. You don't know how you found it the first time.
Well, we do know that this leads to it, this door, so we can find it through this door.
Does it look like we can get past that iron grate?
You don't know if it would be possible without some serious ordnance or equipment.
Oh, fucking angle grinder.
Yeah,
Needs an
for
angle
sure.
grinder.
Only. It always goes back to the angle grinder.
So I guess, fellas, we got to decide what our next step is. I mean, we have the phone. We could go try to, I don't know, talk to this demon of sorts, or go back to the psych ward and
You think
Get
we got a
down to what-
hotline to a demon? That'd be pretty damn cool.
Oh god. That cell
Cool.
phone.
I think
At
that
the-
is a way to describe a hotline to a demon. Pretty damn cool.
1-800-CITRI. Here's the thing.
there-
We gotta get rid of this place, right? But my
for
concern
sure,
is if
but
if
we want to go.
burn it down, is it just gonna reset itself like it has before?
Well, from what I gather, there are multiple, entrances to this ninth floor situation. But we definitely need to burn the place down. But if we burn it down, then we've lost access to wherever this cave is. So, do we want to follow this rabbit hole, or just get rid of it, close it up?
Well, we're gonna need some tools. We're gonna need some power to get past this iron grate here. So maybe we'll go out and do that, and at the same time investigate these other couple of leads we got.
As much as I hate it, I think that's a great idea.
Well, what's wrong with agreeing with me? I'm a smart fella.
Did any of you recognize what I read to you? Did they recognize anything from it? Is that excerpt from the King in Yellow?
100%.
I mean,
Especially Benji. It is the King. It's part of the King in Yellow. Yeah.
Yeah, and
What is it
each one of
mean?
those excerpts or like has P, a number beside it. So it's
They're
like
like
jumbled up
paragraph.
parts. Yeah, or
Yeah, different pages.
page
Is there anything
110.
that jumps out at any of you? Has Hank hasn't read it?
I don't think so. I think Benji's the only one
No.
who's read it in its totality.
Is there a roll
I
I
mean,
can
you can
make to
start.
see if there's any significance to those passages? Maybe.
Or
Cool.
Not a cult.
Does the
You could
situation-
roll an unnatural roll.
What were you gonna say, Brad?
I mean, this would get super trippy, but it's kind of the scrap of paper that Barbas wrote down alludes to at least Benedict being inside the play, or all of us being inside of the play. Does the situation have any parallel to what you read that we're in right now?
I think that what Benji knows from the play is that one of the things that it's referencing, the unmask. Benji, in the play, there's a masquerade ball, and there's a strange person that shows up to the ball, and who's described as wearing the pallid mask, just this flat white porcelain mask. And at the end of the night, when everyone unmasked themselves during the masquerade, this individual tells the person that I am not wearing a mask. This is my face. And that is kind of where things start to deteriorate into anarchy, chaos, and death within the story. So that is what Benji tells you about the unmask part, that's this character from the play.
Weird.
And you guys even hearing this, I'd imagine, especially Benedict, who seems to be a little bit kind of sensitive to me.
Benedict?
He's like, I don't want to
Benji?
know any of this.
Benji, have you read this goddamn book? You said you didn't read it.
Did I say that? Did I say that?
Am I?
I don't know if I said that.
It even says red play in play on that scrap. Have you
read it?
So, alright.
It
Well,
was
I
20,
guess
20 years ago. It's hard to remember.
damn those Testament, we're working as a team here. Now that you've read it, what is Act 2, Scene 1? What is happening in Act 2, Scene 1? Can you give us some background on that, Joe?
No.
But
Keep in
but
mind
this-
that the play itself, just in the real world, in our real world, I don't think anyone's written out the play, per se. I haven't seen a copy of it, so I can't tell you. I would love to tell you.
But point being, this scrap here is kind of like the climax of the play. It's like when shit starts to hit the fan,
Right.
whatever that's worth.
Well, Benji, I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed, but we should just continue. I think your plan is good. Let's go get a fucking angle grinder and check in with the mental hospital, see if they've got any space for 3 more.
Honestly, I don't really want to go back to that hospital. I want to keep that last. That's going to be a whole can of worms. If we're going to do anything in between, I say we do the cell phone. We try to call something on the cell phone. If we're
this
going to do
Brad or
something,
Hank?
Brad,
Okay.
frankly,
At least you're honest.
yeah.
We did burn quite a lot of bridges at that hospital.
You did.
Might just
We,
be best
the
for
general
it.
we.
The general we. It wasn't
Yeah.
one person.
The handsy we.
Okay.
So then are we going to phone this demon up on the cell phone? I don't believe I'm saying this, but are we going to phone a demon on the cell phone without battery?
Oh, it's
What
out
is
of
my
battery.
You have to find a charger. You could go buy a charger at a gas station. It's not
Let's
a
go get a
problem
charger
This seems like an appropriate quest for us.
and an angle grinder at Home Depot.
Okay.
You guys, it doesn't take you long. Like I said, you can go to any gas station. You guys still haven't decided what to do, or I guess you're gonna come back and try to break through the bars of of Barbs' house.
I think so.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
All right, so you guys need to go get an angle grinder, an angle grinder, and a.
Yes. This is all I've ever wanted.
It's the world skeleton key. Like the only thing better than an angle grinder is probably like an excavator. Like that's probably the only thing that works a little better. But you guys make it to like a gas station or something. Or maybe even one of the chargers that you have for one of your cell phones works. You plug it in, and it boots up pretty quickly.
While
And
we're en route, just Benedict kind of reading through Citri to try and prepare himself, and I don't think he finds anything. This person just makes people naked, depicted with the face of a leopard, wings of a griffin, and he changes into a beautiful person. So he tells us to the others, "Is just keep your clothes on, watch out for leopards."
listen,
with
I know we
and
typically take our
beautiful
clothes off,
people.
guys, but let's do our damnedest to rein it in, keep them all on. So you're like reading. Are you reading like Barbas' copy of the Ars Goetia? Like, did you take it with you? I guess?
He's on Demon Web. Benedict is starting to go
Right.
inward.
Who's looking at the phone? Like one of you's driving. Benedict's busy on Demon Web 101. Is Hank driving?
You want to call
Benedict's
Benji or you want to
whilst
call?
reading.
Benji wants to call.
All right.
Oh boy,
I guess
does he.
Hank's driving.
All right. You open it up, and it boots up. It's just like a little burner phone. Like you're very familiar with this.
There's Satan in the contacts.
Right
we go
at the
straight
tippy
to
top. Right at the tippy top is old Lucifer himself. So you open it up. It's a little flip phone. And it has the symbol of the Citri demon, the seal of the demon on the front. You open it up, and the first thing you see is, you look through the contacts. There are no contacts programmed in the phone. There are a series of text messages and there's call logs, but everything is just a phone number. Someone has gone to, has made sure not to put anyone's names or anything in here. You look through the text, you see that all the text are to a single number. And it doesn't take you long at all to do a quick Google of the area code to find out that they're all a Las Vegas area code.
Interesting.
Nevada, Las Vegas area. And they're all like, where the hell are you? I haven't heard from you, things like that. And you see there's back and forth between this number and that number. One of the last messages that goes out is, hey, I'm gonna be a little longer on this job. If something comes up, if something ever happens, look me up at the Boxer Hotel in Boston, Massachusetts. And that's
Okay.
the last message that's sent out.
Wait, okay.
And there's
Can
also
I ask?
Go ahead.
Those were text messages coming in saying like, "Hey, where are you?"
Yes.
Those are coming into the phone. Okay.
And the ones that are going out, the last one's out. It's like this message is going like, and and the responses to, if something happens, find me at the Boxer Hotel. The responses to this are like, what the hell are you talking about? Is something wrong? Are you safe? Blah blah blah. Like a lot of stuff like that. There is one outgoing phone call. So you can either look it up or you can call it. Like, what does Benji do?
Well, now that we have that piece of information, I don't know if I want to call and blow our cover. Like, I kind of want to just go straight to the hotel.
Okay.
But even once we get to the hotel, I don't know how we're going to find this person.
Yeah.
Benji's sharing all this with Hank and Benedict.
Well, we could just try looking up his name. I'm assuming this is Dr. Sorry, what's his name?
Barbas.
Barbas. I'm assuming this is Barbas sending out these texts. We could try Bob.
We-
It's
we
at the
didn't-
hotel.
We didn't find it on his person, right? We found it in the room.
Well,
No, it is.
Let me-
It was taped underneath the counter in the kitchen, like it was
let
hidden.
me. This is my interpretation of this. This was a phone, a burner phone given to Barbas by Delta Green. He's sending something to his wife or something in Las Vegas. He gets wrapped up in this junk and starts carving symbols onto the phone. There might be something that of more insight as to the path he went down in his later days at this hotel.
You guys, as you're looking at this, you see there's a bunch of incoming calls, and there's only one outgoing. There's outgoing calls to this same number that they're texting, and then there's one incoming call too. So you have 3 sets of phone numbers. You have the person who they were texting back and forth, who sounds like they were worried about them. You have one outgoing call and one incoming call. So
If I had a vote, I'd say let's try this hotel first, and then after that, let's try these phone numbers that are the calls. That is.
yeah,
I'm confused. Was it Barbas that's staying at the hotel, or was it the person
We
he's
don't know.
talking to?
We don't know what we're gonna find at the hotel.
the
you know,
owner of the phone seems to have been staying at the Boxer Hotel.
Okay.
could have been Barbas, but this could be some kind of
Hank,
last will
Hank,
type situation.
Can we get your friend, the sandwich buddy that you have, to look up this number?
Is
We have
that
resources.
is
to
that what
find
we're
out the
going
owner.
with for the name?
Yeah.
Sandwich buddy.
Sandwich motherfucker.
And which
A-Cell, I think is who you're referring to.
ASL. The sandwich
Whatever
guys.
they're called.
We could.
Well, you know
Do
that
we
you
want-
could probably look up these phone numbers, like between Benedict. I would say between Benedict and Hank, you both think that you could probably use some of your connections, use some of your skills, to look this stuff up. What is each of your bureaucracy skill?
52.
52.
let me see.
I think it's
His is higher.
high.
Mine's 42. I mean 44. His is higher.
He's failed it every single time.
Both of you feel that you could probably get this number tracked through either law enforcement or like some backdoorsy investigative journalist kind of things, and you wouldn't really have to make a roll for it. You think you could probably just do that. You think you have, because your skills are high enough that you think you could figure that out.
All right.
Let's do it.
Yep. We're gonna do that on our way to the hotel. Make a few calls and
Okay.
try to. He'll take one phone number. I'll take 2 or something like that.
we swinging by Home Depot on the way.
Or
Of course.
That's right.
Of course.
You guys want to go with the DeWalt or the Ryobi?
well, you gotta. I mean, do you
Benji.
want affordability or do you want quality? That's your choice.
I mean, this is a
Benji.
interdimensional steel bars we're talking about. We probably need the best.
Probably need the best one.
Okay.
There's a label underneath one of the brands that says "Great for the night floors."
Oh, look
Night
at this,
Floor's
guys.
approved.
It says right there, it's great for the night floors.
It's the
And does it have
Carcosa
that
brand.
same
It's the Carcosa brand.
unpowered- magical clockwork self-automation system?
Yeah.
Oh, that's an extra.
Yeah, you got to pay extra for all that. That's in a plan.
Be crystal clear. We're gonna get a battery powered one with a charger and an extra battery.
Okay, all right. All right, so you guys pick that up, and then you head to the hotel. You guys have made some calls in the meantime, Benedict and Hank, to run down some of this stuff. Hank, you get a call back pretty damn quickly about the phone numbers, about the incoming call with the number. You get like one of your agent friends from the Marshal Service tells you, he's like, Hank, yeah, hey, listen, I ran down that number. I actually plugged it into the federal directory, and actually came up. That's a DEA number. He's like, that is So I've got the name here of the guy. Do you want it?
Yeah, lay it on me.
Yeah, it's a Agent Ruben Hardrick.
Okay.
He's a DEA guy out of Nevada.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. You okay, man? We haven't seen you around the office.
Oh, just working late on this case. Everything's good here. Did you get anything on the second number going out?
Yeah, I got the other two numbers. Yeah, I pulled them up right here. The first one is another, looks to be another Nevada number, registered to an Ophelia Citri.
How's that name?
Citri's the demon.
Ch2.
Oh. Any information on this character?
Well, yeah, I got the address for you. Do you want that?
Yes, I would like that.
Okay, he gives you the address. He said, beyond that, and he gives you like her basics, like her birth, all the info you would need to look at.
Yeah.
It's like, and then, and probably about that time, Benedict, you get a call back, and you get some very similar info. You don't get the info about the DEA number, but you get some similar info about this Ophelia Citri, and then they tell you, yeah, looks like we've got this other number. That's a local number. It's what is it? Dorchester Psychiatric Hospital.
God damn it. Okay.
This is the
you
text
okay?
going out? This is the text going out?
That was the outgoing phone number.
He
I'm
called
not
like
the
okay.
Whoever had the phone had called the number. So you've got text back and forth to this woman, Ophelia Citri. You've got an incoming call from this DEA agent, an outgoing call to the Dorchester. And you guys right now are
I'm
sitting...
not okay, but thank you for asking. I'm having a terrible day. And I hope you're having the same.
Jesus.
Slams the phone down.
Slams it down.
I just side-eye
Yeah.
Benji after hearing him just say this to this person.
Yeah.
Maybe we should go all take a break and get some Arby's on the way back.
God, some
That
ice
would be
cream as
lovely.
well.
All right, you guys stop at an Arby's, and I think that's actually a great place for us to go ahead and stop here. Man, you guys just uncovered a whole can. You're talking about the Dorchester being a can of worms. Man, you guys just
Goddamn.
uncovered a whole bunch of other stuff in this single cell phone.
Should not have used it. Should have crushed
This
it.
whole thing
Should've
is
crushed
no.
You can't hit everything with a lead pipe.
Watch.
Don't watch me.
Not every problem can be solved with a lead pipe, Benedict. Yeah. All right. Yeah. How are you guys feeling about that?
It's getting hairy,
Good.
man. I feel like I kind of have like a good overarching like idea of like what routes to go and like what's kind of connected, but now it's just getting really muddled.
Yeah.
I don't know. I always feel good when we have leads. It's when we don't have leads that I get
Yeah.
like
Get twitchy.
Right.
frustrated, more accurately.
Frustrated.
But I'm feeling
Yeah.
pretty good about it right now.
All right. Well, everyone watching, everyone listening, thank you. Thank you for joining us. If you like what you're hearing and you want to connect with us, head on over to r/greenboxgaming. And we're also on Twitter and everything, and all of our links are there on r/greenboxgaming. You can find everything there. That's kind of our headquarters. But if you like this so much, you're like, Joe, I am so caught up that I think I actually want to hear these stuff a week early, then why don't you swing on over to patreon.com/greenboxgaming_, and I'm going to be frank with you right now. You guys want to hear something crazy? You guys want to hear something nuts?
Mm-hmm.
Go for it.
That's for the audience.
I just pulled up the Patreon. I had it up earlier today, and I just pulled the Patreon. We have a new patron.
All right.
Yeah, everyone, welcome
Welcome.
Andre.
Andre.
Hey, Andre.
Andre, thank you. Man, that's great. So Andre is joining our friends Steve, Kyle, Peter, and Stuart, they are the first 5. Our original 5
The OG
contributors.
5.
The OG 5, man.
Speedo swag coming in.
It's on its way.
Get them some Maximum Peanut Butter Achieved t-shirts.
Maximum peanut butter. I want to see. Listen. I'm looking at you, Steve. I want to see a maximum peanut butter tattoo in your future, my friend. That's yeah.
Don't
thank
forget,
you guys.
$20 tier. We will battle to the death for you.
Yeah,
Yes.
there will be lots
Gladiator
more.
style.
But yeah, hey, listen. That's only $3 a month, and you're basically just buying us a cup of coffee. And that money, it goes to pay for our for our servicing the podcast and for our other subscriptions to the services we had. Man, you guys really help this podcast be a thing and help it to continue. Thank you so much. And again, you guys, if you're interested in doing that, $3 a month is all it takes. You get to hear these. You get to hear all the episodes a week early, and you get a private RSS feed that you get all of the episodes directly to whatever device, your platform you're listening to. So it's pretty good deal.
Sweet.
So, you guys, thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
for running it.
Yeah, and
Loved it.
for those of you watching on Twitch, stand by. We will be back in a little bit. For those of you listening or watching the VODs in the future, thanks for joining us. And we will catch you next time. All right?
Later, players.
Bye.
Future.
Bye.